I'm Steve Monkey Mason. Welcome to the podcast. Sorry, go on.
No, you fucker. Hello, I'm Stephen Monkey Mason, and welcome to a special podcast. We have Paul Ray, who likes imitating me these days. He is now going to be called Paul Ray, the chameleon. Go fuck himself. We've got Carl McSorley as well, and for the very first time, we've got the legendary Big Dave. And this happens to be Big Dave's favourite movie. So we're going to press play on 3, 2, 1. Everyone's probably going to be out of sync in time. I am watching the 30th anniversary Blu-ray release widescreen. What's everyone else watching?
I'm the same as you. I've got the 30th anniversary with just a standard screen. That's the pixel version.
Are you watching the right film, Paul Ray? You've not got like Shia LaBeouf on your screen right now?
The best one.
The best one, here we go.
Oh, poor man, sure.
Yeah.
There's plenty of that.
Now, I remember this as a kid. My granddad used to, you know when you used to get the guys to go around with the VHSs before we had video shops and just, you rent them from car boots and stuff. My granddad had a quick job of that. And I remember seeing this and being absolutely fucking, not only blown away, but absolutely your childhood just gets destroyed. And watching it now, this is a work of fucking art, this movie.
Looks good.
I must admit though, like, this is a time to be born, as I was 7-month-old when this film came out.
Fuck.
Alright. So I'm a little bit on the young side, but as credit towards the animation and everything like that, as part of the late 80s child, my whole childhood was all about 80s reruns, so
I
loved it.
I got this as an Easter present from those Time Life ones, Britannia. You buy 5, you get a break in one. So I got one from here. I've only seen this once or twice in my life, so you have to guide us through. I mean,
I didn't actually watch it properly until I was 15, I think. The 15th anniversary of it.
Yeah, that's late, that day, yeah. Well, the thing is about Transformers, right, in the day, the movie was probably the only physical release you could really get of it to, go, it's the Transformers, because, no one ever seen the original TV series definitely in the UK, in any right order. Do you know what I mean? Because it was so late getting over here. Because it was
It was back in the day as well, before the internet.
Yeah.
Look for it on the internet, or look for bits and pieces of it. It was pretty much you were at the mercy of ITV or whoever Saturday morning had it on.
Or tape trading back in the day, if anyone had actually taped it, you know what I mean? Back in the day when they used to have the rivalries between BBC and BBC Three or ITV One or whatever you want to call it, the kids after school shows, you know what I mean? Transformers was, again, it's a toy line driven franchise, and obviously the originals were all Japanese, weren't they? All made toys off other stuff.
I've got to say so far, the animation is absolutely amazing.
This bit's mint.
But it looks amazing.
This bit's mint here when the music cues, but it goes into the heavy metal rock ballad. It's just fucking class. It just gives you goosebumps.
Crusaders driving over. Oh no, sorry, it's Transformers.
Literally, so it's a proper smart cleanup.
Every frame was done just like they did with Jaws, scanned 6 times every frame and stuff, and it all just went through and CT corrected and all that, man.
Because you get some, Close Encounters is one of the worst ones I've ever seen, because it's still just high definition grain.
Yeah.
I would say a lot of them just don't get the same treatment though. It's a shame.
Did Nelson from Breakfast Club?
Yeah, he's Hot Rod.
Big stars in this one, mate.
Leonard Nimoy, isn't it?
Leonard Nimoy.
Austin Wells is the big one. This is Austin Wells' last ever movie as well. He died 2 weeks after.
Yeah, because I was about to mention that.
But again, I sent you guys before, it's legendary known for Orson Welles. Obviously, he's the voice of War of the Worlds. Not only, he's also the creator of Citizen Kane. He's a legendary guy. And that audio thing I sent you today about the Poddington P things when he was doing the Peas advert, it's almost they were terrified of him coming in for the voicing, because who's going to tell him what to do? And he just absolutely rips this new guy a new one, the editor. But what a talent he was, There's a really good film on Netflix about him, about the lost film of Orson Welles. He was a really, really interesting guy,
There's also a book, Scatman Crothers.
Hi, Scatman, I'm a Scatman.
That was his final film as well.
Well, no, was it? Was he not actually Scatman John? Not the same Scatman?
No.
I mean, considering he died at 76 in 1986, I doubt it.
Well, you know, the ancient eras of the 90s and remixes. Laserbeak, I fucking love Laserbeak.
That's
That way was
always
my favourite of all the Decepticons, because he's the only one that did anything.
I like. There's a Soundwave one with the cassette tape.
Yeah.
I like that one.
Yeah.
And if you ever watch like the first series again, whenever Megatron asks for anything to be done, Soundwave has to send a tape out. The rest of them bumble around and just fuck it up.
Well, I mean, the original movie, they crash into a mountain and set up the base and all that, and they go out and clone as robots, but they already look like robot machines and stuff. But this film is, though, it's like, I mean, it's a story about a power struggle, but it's also like, it's to introduce a new toy range, that's it. I mean, no one was expecting anybody to get killed, let alone Optimus Prime, but how brutal they fucking die in a cartoon. Yeah.
Never mind.
Oh, fucking hell, man.
Yeah. You know,
That's what it was.
Death in this, though, it's my main argument I've had with people all the time, though. Like, when you watch like Ironhide, when he dies, he's proper just destroyed. There's nothing putting him back together.
No, he's
Just
brutalised.
being shanked, basically.
To be honest, like as a kid, like I was more into like He-Man and Transformers. To be honest, like, but I know like Optimus Prime dies. It was on the Goldbergs actually. Just let you know, the guy who did the score for this, Vince DiCola, I recognise the name. He did Rocky IV. Rocky IV score, which is awesome.
The thing, I mean, the animation on this, there was hundreds of people working on it and stuff like that, but like anything that landed on the cutting room floor ended up being the opening for season 3 of the Transformers and stuff. But again, unless you buy the box set, you're allowed to just this movie, and as you walk away from it, it's fucking class. Do you know what I mean? It's got your favourites in, but it introduces new favourites. Again, at the time, it's a toy line. But like the quality of this film, how it was made, mint.
It didn't exactly succeed, though. It did in a way, because like you say, it was purely for toy making. But as a film itself, it didn't really succeed, because I mean, I'm looking here, it was $6 million budget, yet worldwide gross was 5,860,000. So it didn't quite make the mark. But then again, I don't think they were that worried about the money making, because they knew they'd make any money back just purely from toys.
But it wasn't that era to take kids to the pictures. Disney didn't make that many films around that era, though, did they? Disney.
Yeah, no.
Disney haven't got like a big like breakout movie. This is just brutal. The fucking. I mean, Megatron transforming into a small gun, I mean, that's another story on its own, like, but this is just absolutely brutal.
Yeah, well, Ironhide.
Well, it was banned.
Ratchet, Ironhide, I mean, they're all, the copper there, look at that, man, like, red eyes, down to the floor, I mean, the sound quality, lump of metal, these guys just get fucking wasted.
I think it's also like kind of ballsy to, I mean, and that sound daft, but like they've really emphasised on the dying. You know, like you say, the red eyes, the smoke coming out the mouth and stuff like that, whereas in an animation cartoon, they could have just had them fall over and that's it, but they were really emphasising on the fact that
oh yeah, they're fucking flat out murdered. It's like, it's murder. I mean, this film's got swear words in it as well. It's like, did he just say that?
Yeah, it's funny, it's still a U-rated film.
Yeah.
It's only I think the 30th anniversary is only a PG because of the extras.
Yeah, the Jaws was bumped up to a 12 because of the extras.
Fuck me, my Jaws is.
Yeah, go ahead. Ironhide there, just proper.
It is. It's fucking lethal, lad.
Yeah. This is proper animation. It's like old school. Now, like say, I'm a big fan of like the first Transformers film, the Shia LaBeouf one. I like the first one, and it goes downhill after that.
Yeah,
I did enjoy Bumblebee. I wish they started on the planet where they lived. I forgot where they got it now.
Cybertron. The new Bumblebee film, or you talking about you enjoy Bumblebee from the originals?
No, from the new film.
See, the new one, it was almost perfect for me. I mean, I love the beginning. You know, it was a perfect set. It looked real. But I will be honest, it's probably quite a common thing that's being said, but the only thing I could totally take out of that film, and it wouldn't harm it, and it would have actually made it better, is take out John Cena. I mean,
Yeah.
bottom line is that man. It's shocking that it's just like one of those things that will annoy you because he does get a lot of push. You know, I mean, obviously look at the new Suicide Squad. You know, he's one of the characters in that. That film hasn't even been released yet. They've already greenlit a spin-off series with him.
Well, he's in
And
Fast
it's
and
just like-
Furious, and he's meant to play
Hey, nah.
Vin Diesel's
Yeah.
brother. You're like, fuck right off.
Yeah. Your brother from another mother. Jesus Christ. That can't be legitimate. But no, like I say, it's just like that's the thing that takes away from these films is that with Bumblebee, they really got in touch with the 80s with it. And I mean, sure, there was a human element of it, but it was definitely Bumblebee's film, whereas obviously Michael Bay was, let's just say, without the...
There's too many humans in Michael Bay's movie. That was the problem. What we get right here,
totally.
this is. I mean, there's a couple of humans.
The first film, he said it's about the human element. It's not about the robots, and everyone was like, "What?"
Everything about what Transformers.
I mean, look how long we waited in the fourth one for the Dinobots to turn up, and you think, what? And then to end the fifth one with Unicron, and you think, how the fuck is Unicron Earth? I mean, how is that ever going to play out to being a Transformer?
I'm loving this animation. Like it brings us back to old school, like Matt and He-Man and stuff. It's
Well, I was about to say, I recently just watched, my friend does a podcast, and I just rewatched the He-Man Christmas special. I mean, it's awful in so many different ways, but it's also like just brilliantly nostalgic. You know, the animations, the storytelling, it's just like, this is what, I mean, I don't know, like, see, with kids today, I mean, Dave, I suppose you could attest to this, is this still something that kids are proper getting into?
Well, I don't know, because my son's pretty much gets into things like Transformers.
Yeah.
So it's kind of the revivals of the old classics that we watch. The newer stuff he kind of watches for a bit, gets bored, and then comes back to Transformers.
Yeah.
I remember, I think he was 3 when we first watched this. He wasn't really that interested until the Dinobots turned up, and he was like, "What are them?" I'm like, "That's dumb."
Yeah, I mean,
you go, life, finds a way.
I mean, with all these though, I mean, obviously, like, there's got to be a story around because it's all cell animated. You can't just like go, right, can you change that to a different colour? Well, no, there's like fucking a million scenes being drawn that way. That's the thing, because there is a lot of mistakes in this movie, as we're watching to point out, especially when there's one of the Dinobots is the wrong way around and stuff. As I say,
The changed a lot for the 30th one.
they might have changed a few bits and bobs, a few of like the
Sure, when
errors.
they cleaned it up, there's a couple of like little bits that they fix.
Oh, when Slag gets hit on top of the head and his eyes pop up by mistake on the wrong frame or something, I think that got changed.
Yeah, just like the little bits.
I love the Transforming City as well because, like, obviously that was something I think the Brave Star had as well. Like the kind of Transforming City is a really good factor, and like it's proper dramatic. It like feels like it's totally under attack and stuff.
Female Transformer.
There you go, Carl. There's your one and only chance.
Hey, don't be a fanny about it, mate.
Oh.
Oh.
Now, again, look, they're introducing like a love connection. She fancies Hot Rod, but obviously she's with what do you call him? Splinter.
Splinter?
No, he's not called Splinter. He's called something like that.
I don't know, because I've just been looking at something like you said, you mentioned Mistake, and I don't know if it's past, but Springer, you're on about.
Springer, yeah.
Because apparently at the start of the attack of Autobot City, after being fired upon, the Decepticons above, Ultra Magnus stands up and says Springer, however his lips don't move.
Oh, wait, come on. What are you fucking, who's fucking reaching that? Fucking hell.
Is it what's in Ninja Turtles, isn't it? When a different bandanas would change during like the season, that like the voices would be wrong. And the wrong turtle.
Well, you just can't go and correct stuff like that. It's not an easy fix, is it? I used to have
unless you do the whole thing again, which is just not happening.
This is brutal as well. I used to have the insecticide here on the left, wondering where his other fucking antenna is at the moment. But this guy here, he gets his fucking head run over. Watch coming here. It's fucking brutal. Like, there goes, speeding down. Like, he gets knocked to the side, and then he gets his head up, and he just gets fucking squished. Watch. And doink. That's fucking brutal. He's dead. But even like Cup and Hot Rod, they're all like this new, like, they're very space age looking like cars and robots and stuff. Like, again, that's where they were totally changing the design as well, weren't they? So.
Oh yeah.
I mean, Ultra Magnus is just a clone of Optimus Prime, who falls down into a little truck and sits in like a holding for like part of his trailer. I remember that toy quite well.
Like, even Frank Welker's in this, like, he does his voices, you know, he does like Garfield, Scooby-Doo voices, Animaniacs, he does everything, doesn't he? It's like a gadget. Welker.
Well, that's it, but then unfortunately they don't get the names top billed. They fall victim to people who only have like short bits and stuff. Like the guy who plays Megatron, I think he's Rumble and he's Wheelie and stuff like that, so... Because he wasn't...
Back in the 80s, like most TV series, we had about 5 voice actors at the time.
Yeah.
And they played about 15 parts each, because it was...
Now, kids, those are called cassette tapes, kids. We used to have those in the 80s to listen to music to.
That's it, man. I mean, Rumble and Ravage and stuff like that. You just wanted to see them in the movie. I mean, Soundwave didn't come in until well after, and you were like, every time Michael Bay would go and make a new film. This guy, I've always thought this guy didn't have any... I mean, they're just a completely... I mean, he changed colours as he came out. He didn't really have any characters, you know, to warrant his cassette tape. He's just a clone of Soundwave, but a goodie, because everyone likes Soundwave, didn't they? So...
Yeah, isn't he called something like Sound Blaster or something?
Sound Blaster.
Yeah, he is literally just a clone, so they could have one for the good guys,
There's
one for the bad guys.
Right, so one of my favourite guys from the original TV series, right, is just dead on the floor. He has no scene whatsoever in the movie, and I'm sure he just pops up in a minute, just dead on the floor, and I was like, are you fucking joking? Here, she's dragging one of them in. You just see him, I think he's just at the top right, not the guy she's got. He's got like a mouthpiece like there. There he is, up in the top right corner. He's got the white top. Like, I loved him from the show, and there he is, just dead on the floor. It's just like a brief cameo. But Howell's not in it, is he? The army jeep, he's not in it. And he was quite a big part of the original episode, the pilot episode.
Yeah, but I think because he gets replaced by Cop, doesn't he? Basically.
Possibly, yeah.
I don't know, in like the dynamics of things.
I don't want to be a dick and all like that, but does anyone want to tell that kid like he's not contributing any part of pushing that tank?
It's just a movie.
I mean, to be fair, he's not contributing anything, is he? He's in a robot fight.
At least a couple of dies as well.
Fuck it.
Everyone's got a member of that on the team, haven't they?
The tone here, the score and the tone and the suddenly change of pace. Like, Devastator's just got what a fucking awesome entrance. Like, boom.
Now, it's still up in the air, but how do you feel about the fact that, I mean, it's been a while now, so I don't even know if to get away with it, but how do you feel about the fact that the Re-Earth the Transformers franchise, but also blending in with the G.I. Joe franchise?
Well, G.I. Joe and Transformers used to go hand in hand. In fact, because Transformers didn't perform super well, the G.I. Joe movie that followed this went straight to director VHS. They didn't bother going for the pictures. But again, a multiverse, Hasbro could do that. I mean, yes, they'll probably bring Battleship into it as well. But like, I think the one with the Transformers is Michael Bay should have only directed the first one and stayed on as executive producer. He should have let other people have a better crack at it and let, you know what I mean, and spend more time and listen to the fans. They just seem to do whatever they fucking wanted. I mean, Devastator, what was Devastator? He looked like a cartoon clusterfuck with balls hanging down. You know what I mean?
They didn't even introduce him properly though, did they? He just turned up in a fight for no reason.
Yeah.
But the thing is,
them little bots, and then was ended, and that was the end of it. No one talked to him. No one did anything with him after that.
I said that one.
There he goes. There's me main boy.
Grimlock.
I said the big dinosaur.
oh, we got one. Sweet chimney, did.
Is it Grimlock or something?
Yeah.
Or Steve Lock? I said that one.
Grimlock and
They called me Rock Lord.
Slag in it, but they had to they've changed his name, haven't they, Dave?
Yeah, I think he's just Slug now because he got Sludge and Slug. change his name because people were getting offended by slag. Even though RC's still there.
Now the big question here is Optimus Prime's trailer, and like, where does it go? It's just like one of those things.
80s magic just goes and it comes when it needs.
Yeah.
The music though, like the score just kicking in there, like you got the touch, you got the power.
Where Prime just starts wrecking everyone.
I mean, he's just flat out ran him over.
I know, that's what I mean. He's just like, what? Where were you during the main battle, mate?
I remember the toys used to be like proper like metal, didn't it? Heavy metal ones, and if you hit someone you hurt.
Well, that's what I was saying. The original toys were a Japanese range, Paul, and like basically they just acquired them into like the rights in the American market and made a cartoon to sell them.
Power Rangers. Same with Power Rangers if you make it that way. Yeah.
Well, that was it, yeah, because Transformers the entire thing, and Hasbro went, well, I was supposed to sell these, and the guy just went, well, why don't we just make a cartoon about them? Which is why, like, was it Bumblebee and I can't remember the other one. There's two of them that basically look exactly the same.
Cliff Jumper, the Texas one.
Yeah, the Cliff Jumper.
Aye.
Red Bumblebee, aye.
From Texas.
Yeah.
I mean,
they were exactly the same model, but just different colours.
That's it. Well, again, though, a lot of parents complained about this Transformers, but that's how they ended up with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles come along, because like it was a halfway. You know what I mean? Turtles were looked like turtles, and it was pretty cartoon, but they were ninjas, so kids thought they were cool. So that's.
I think you'll find they were hero turtles, mate. Get it right, thank you.
Well, yeah. In England, yes, in England.
Yeah, well, they had to change them for the cartoon, though, didn't they? Because the original comic they were based on.
Yeah.
Violent as hell. Like,
oh yeah,
that's dead
dark. Yeah.
Now this battle, I always like it when it like gets close to them and you can see the detail they've put into them, about them being wrecked and stuff, and all like the cracks and stuff. It's fucking mental, like.
They're drunk.
No, they're not
Hardly
drunk.
drunk.
Like.
So this is why. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not going to put my hand up and say I could have done better, but I would disagree with you on the idea of having Michael Bay on for further project, because although he did do a reasonable job in the first one, there's a massive element that I think he got horrendously wrong, and that was the Transformer. You know, it's kind of like they were too busy. So, you know, yes, fair enough, I'm not going to lie, it was cool to see them for the first time assemble and stuff like that. But it's not like a lot of them you couldn't really work out the detail.
He's the detail on his face here. Before I cut you off, just the detail on Megatron's face. No,
but then you've also got there was no weight to them either. Like going back to a podcast that we just done, Jurassic Park. You know, like every single step that T-Rex makes, you believe that's big. Whereas you've got these massive robots and they're flying all over the place, and you would think they were weird like feathers. You know, just. I feel like Bumblebee didn't do amazingly better, but it did get that better tone. So I think as far as the Michael Bay Transformers go,
I know. I meant he should have only directed the first one. Like that's what I meant. I mean, Michael Bay should have did the first one to get the ball rolling. But like, if you look how good Bad Boys 3 is, Bad Boys 3's mint.
But if Michael Bay was still on the project, he's a control freak. There's no way he would have let anyone change it dramatically, and that's what it needed to be improved.
Bad Boys 3 was a lot different to the third one. I thought Bad Boys 3 was far better than the second Bad Boys.
Yeah, I would give you that. But to
completely derail this conversation, we're going to have to talk about the Astro Train in a second,
Yeah, I'll let you go this one because, this just fucks with your head.
You can barely fit any bots in, but then in about 5 minutes' time, like Devastator just makes himself.
Well, that's it. It's like the Magic 80s, isn't it? It's like, you know, he's a train, isn't he? He's also a tank, isn't he? A tank and a plane.
I think he had a cannon on the front of him, I think.
Yeah, I think he's just a triple changer, so he's like a rocket in a train. And then when he's a robot, he just does what he wants.
Now,
what they should have is the robots from Revenge of the Sith. At the end.
Yeah, that's what they needed, isn't it? Not like they did a good job with her, though, did they?
I tell you what, every Saturday, me and Big Dave, when we were together there, Dave would put the Transformers soundtrack on, and every Saturday Optimus Prime would fucking die. This music is haunting. And it's not just the fact that he fucking, he's essentially dying in front of them. I mean, again, this is a kid's movie. They make sure you know he's dead. His head turns aside and he changes black and you're like, what the fuck just happened? I mean, this film's just started. Do you know what I mean? It's fucking brutal like this.
It's not just that, like, because they reuse the music, like, different bits of the music all the way through the film, but this is the only bit of music that's just for Prime's death.
Let me look on you with my own eyes.
There's a bit of trivia about that, though. Apparently a kid locked himself in a cupboard for 2 weeks. A young kid. Because of this scene.
Well, yeah, I mean, you got a lot of kids who... I mean, this was taking place, 20 years after the series was, so people were definitely attached to the characters.
Especially when he opens his chest up. Jesus Christ, man. I mean, that's like open heart surgery, that.
That's a Matrix, that. Matrix will leave the ship. There's no... Long before we had a Keanu Reeves on the big screen.
No.
Do you know who Optimus Prime was modelled after?
Truck.
John Wayne. Dickhead.
I can see the resemblance, like...
But that was a...
Truck.
Resemblance? He's a fucking robot that turned into a truck. He's nothing like John Wayne.
No, he's fucking character reigns, man. You fucking bastards. Fucking hell.
That's what's the John Wayne films.
No, there we go. See, look, lights out, and everyone's like, he turns grey to black.
No, John Wayne, no.
John Wayne and the Alamo, that's what his death scene was based off, you fucking twits. I did my research. I know what I'm talking about.
I can see all the memes flooding in now.
The worst thing, someone's actually recorded it too. And put it on loads of screens.
And they've got the edit as well.
Matrix again, man.
All seeing eye.
There's an idea. Would you ever consider combining the Matrix with a Transformers film?
That'd be just too
It would
fucking
be ridiculous, but like you'd have to embrace that ridiculousness.
There's definitely a lot of inspiration from this movie into the Matrix, especially when you look about the machinery and stuff in there and the crop fields and shit.
Yeah. With all of the Decepticons, told you.
Yep. Just
It'd be amazing because then we could bring Keanu Reeves back as a robot. And that's what happened in Neo. I've written the script already, done. Cash a check.
They're actually made Cybertron. Earth is Cybertron.
Earth is
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Starscream, man.
But only if he played the Duke Kaboom voice. That's the only way I'd have it. Did you hear the story about that? Like, when they literally took him out for a meal to introduce him to the character to get him on board, and apparently, like, he was reading the script there and then, he just started busting out all these lines, and, like, people were looking like they were, like, totally surprised, like, what you doing? He's just like, I want to see if I know the role. So he's, like, literally busting out all these Duke Kaboom lines in the restaurant, and it was just like, you just don't think of that. He's, like, such a straight-faced guy that I just can't imagine him in real life doing that, but it's one of the good ones.
He's supposed to be one of the really good ones. Same as like he'll take pay cuts and all sorts if he believes in the film.
Well, this is it, but that's the only thing I've got us worried about, the idea of doing John Wick and the Matrix, and the fact that they were supposed to be released the same week. It just felt like, well, that doesn't sound very sensible, but I mean, not that that's happening anymore, but
Keanu Reeves has done really well for himself, especially where I think I've talked about this before, how he survived the backlash he got off Bram Stoker's Dracula, because everyone thought that was it for him.
yeah.
Because he's fucking terrible in that.
I love it. It's my favourite Dracula film.
The bit coming up here is absolutely fucking stunning. Like, this is hand drawn. Like, it's not like computer enhanced or anything. They're like sort of like blueprint of Megatron. It's fucking stunning, this, when he starts disassembling them.
Disassemble number 5.
Can't talk about that. You want to talk about that? That's racist. That I had no idea that guy was white.
What about the first one?
The same guy. I was absolutely shocked to find out he was white.
So Mason, you assumed he was black. What gave you that impression?
Because he said 25's alive. He acts like an Indian all the way through it.
Well, you can have a white Indian.
He's painted brown.
They did not brown him up. They might have elaborated on his accent.
Stephen Fisher or Fisher Stevens, whichever way his name goes around, is white as Casper. He's a henchman in the fucking Super Mario Brothers.
Yeah.
God.
And
I don't see colour, mate, so I just see people as they are.
Oh, so you've got AIDS and you can only see in colour. Right, brilliant, Carl.
The actual irony of it is that I am literally colourblind as well, but you know, that's not that I can't see.
Nobody said you'd be so.
I'm sure Paul would say the big
Dave, I don't know if it needs to be mentioned, but just to clarify, I don't actually have AIDS.
No.
Just
That was Paul's fault, that.
Paul thought you had genuine AIDS.
Yeah.
That was probably one of the... I can't even remember which podcast that was. Carl, have you got AIDS? No, Paul.
Obviously, one meant hearing AIDS, because I didn't notice, because it's something you don't notice. Like, Carl, I'll just see people who laugh. I mean,
Yeah, that's just... I mean, yeah, fair enough. Most people don't realise until I point it out.
I mean, look at this dissection of him. Like, I mean, it's fucking
That's stunning, that, like.
Stunning.
think about the Tron.
It's fucking up. I mean, it's just... Every set... Like,
getting
you couldn't computer even animate that, could you? Because, I mean, we're talking early 80s, this, aren't we?
86.
86,
I was 5.
I was born.
Yeah, I was going to say I was 7 months, so...
Yeah, I was born in June, so I was born sometime close to it.
Yeah.
So what was Disney doing at this time?
Songs of the
No. 55, that man.
let me do a little fact check for you. What was Disney doing?
Disney were just reissuing loads of stuff again. You know, those faults.
Basil? Basil was the 90s, wasn't it? Basil?
Basil was 80 something. Yeah. No. Disney were just relaunching, just brings out pictures and just doing those Disney vaults.
Jumping on VHS.
For a little time only before the Disney vault.
Did anyone have any of the original Transformers growing up or not?
Nah, it's all about the Turtles figures for me, like the
Ghostbusters Turtles for me.
I had quite a few Turtles, but I had a couple of Transformers figures, mostly things like Prime.
Yeah, I think I had a Prime. I definitely had a Grimlock and the Spinosaurus one.
Yeah, I had Grimlock, sorry.
I think I had some of the Next Generations ones, but the few were only in the cartoon, but they were so expensive just because of all the mechanisms. I think that's why Turtles became a big hit, because they were just plastic, you know what I mean?
It was just cheaply made figures, isn't it?
But when you think about it, yeah, because I mean, I know they were defined as turtle figures, like as the model of them, but if you look at the original turtle figures, but then kind of look at the He-Man figures, they weren't like massively different in terms of size and shapes. It seemed to be like the most generic thing that they do and just knock them out that way.
But no one can compare. Turtles is still one of the biggest toy crazes ever. I mean, the riots are still talked about now. He goes Starscream. Now, in the movies, Megatron and Starscream come into it, but then they sort of don't get killed, come back. I mean, Megatron keeps coming back. Agent Smith, whatever, Hugo Weaving, didn't want to return, did they? For the voice after the first one as well.
No, well, he notoriously hates everything he does.
Yeah, like, if you think about what he did in Captain America, it was just purely because he didn't want to sit through the makeup, so he decided not to do it again. It was like
every film he comes out and goes, "Nah, I didn't really like that." I don't think he's got one he loves.
Lord of the Rings.
I think he only came back for The Hobbit because of the paycheck.
Yeah. Well, same with the Land of Bloom, I suppose.
Aye, so I mean,
Orlando Boom never really boomed, did he?
You ever see the Calcium Kid?
No.
That was the one. I think that came out after Lord of the Rings, and it would have probably been okay. It was like a British film. It probably would have been okay had it come out before Lord of the Rings, but because it was such a success, he came out with this British film where he was like kind of an amateur boxer that was obsessed with drinking milk.
Can I just say that?
Weird.
That Ghetto Blaster's mint from before. Ultimate Ghetto Blaster stuff.
Yeah. Yes, you can't see that.
Boombox. I don't know what's called that anymore. I'm not cool anymore, so.
So here goes Cliff Jumper and his dad. Jazz.
And from me, I'm getting a lot of Star Wars inspiration here as well, like some of the ships and. I mean, didn't the beginning have like the Star Killer? Straight away.
Oh, but that's
I think the 70s and 80s, though, everyone just ripped each other off, didn't they?
Yeah, absolutely. Makes sense.
Spielberg wasn't fully established at this point, but once he got his fingers in, that was it.
That's what his daughter said.
Oh! Jesus Christ, Carl.
Can that be classed as a vagina joke?
Yeah.
Oh, you got one in finally. What was it Flash Gordon we were on the other night, Carl? You just started talking about vaginas.
I will have to rewatch it to understand, but there was a legitimate thing that made us comment on a vagina, and I don't know what it was now, but it became a thing. But vaginas are awesome.
Wow.
I mean, yeah, no.
Have we got any complaints? Is anyone disagreeing with that statement? Just gonna put it out there. Be man enough to admit it if you want. So on a different note though, I just did a little check on 1986 and we do have the Great Mouse Detectives that came out.
Hey! Basil!
We also had Flight of the Navigator.
Oh, well, that had controversy, didn't it? I mean, that film didn't do light the box office on fire. Like, Pee Wee Herman's in it, right? Gets caught having a wank in fucking public fucking weeks before and have to change his name.
We got American Tail.
That's Steven Spielberg.
Yeah. A great film, which I don't think anyone really thinks of when I think of Tom Cruise, is The Colour of Money.
Fuck up. That's a sequel, you know. Do you know what that's a sequel to?
Yeah, The Hustle.
Oh, well, there you go. You do know.
Yeah. We're doing a sequel. I mean, don't get me wrong, The Hustle is far better, but this is like quite a clearly kind of modern adaptation to a sequel to it. I'll tell you what it has got, which I can't remember as a kid. I don't know if it'll bring up anything for you guys, but Disney's Fuzz Bucket. It's got the creepiest looking character in the world on it.
Right.
Now, I don't think I've ever actually seen
Look at that
it.
scene there. There's a Stegosaurus, Dave. Sorry to chop you off, Carl. There's a Stegosaurus in that scene.
Yeah, so.
It's the wrong Dinobot.
White paints away.
You dickhead. You fucking dickhead. Fuck off, Paul Ray. Oh, that's as good as you sitting on the Titanic, that one. Sorry, Carl, what were you saying?
I don't know anymore. What was I saying? I have no idea. Fuzz Bucket. Apparently a Disney thing. Now, I've never seen it, but I'm looking at a picture now and it's got like literally the creepiest looking creature thing. It seemed to be one of those shows where it's all like humans, but one little puppet creature, and he looks like an owl on crack.
That Transformers going dead quick. They have loads of Red Bull or something.
It's blur, that, man.
No balls in this one.
Around this time, though, you had stuff like American Rabbit and stuff. They were like really weird pushes. Paul, what was that one called with the fucking stop animation and it always had that massive epic fucking trailer?
Adventures of Mark.
Yeah, that's the fucker. Talk about being fucking eerie as fuck. I mean, we had the never-ending story. That's terrifying.
Speaking of which one, we're going to do that one.
We'll do that soon. We'll get Jurassic Park out of the way, then we'll do that one. There's a brilliant thing with Cup Light, because obviously he goes, this one reminds me of, this one reminds me of that. And when he sees Unicron, he's like, what does this remind you of? I was like, I've never seen anything like this before in my life. It's just such a clever fucking character fucking arc.
I haven't got a clue what's going on.
I don't think you need to know though. They're just like very impressive like action scenes.
Yeah.
It's visually stunning though, isn't it? It just doesn't stop.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, I mean, how is he able to run this? Sorry, but how is he able to run the same thing as a robot doing a full stride? Little whippet snapper.
Could life find a way?
Oh, we left the only one.
We left the girl.
Oh, let's that.
It's a good leap, that.
This film needs a warning at the start.
Wasn't she in the films, but wasn't like she a baddie or something?
Oh, she was a girlfriend or something, wasn't she? Something like that?
No, the character wasn't she a motorbike?
Is that not the one from Bumblebee?
I'm sure RC was in one of the later ones, like maybe 5 or Bumblebee, but I'm sure
I
she
do
was a
remember in
baddie.
Bumblebee where like two, because they end up teaming up with the humans to get the good guy. Because the female and the male robot comes down.
I think it might be Transformers 5 then. Aye.
Yeah.
Would you guys get a Transformer top 2?
I think if you were going to get one, it would be either Autobot or Decepticon. You would have to get the logo, but it would have to be done. Like, I would probably say Decepticon because of purple. I don't think red really lasts long as a tattoo, because I've got purple and red tattoos. And I think purple, if it's done right, it's lush, but I would.
Yeah,
I mean, I like it when you see a car. Like, you know what I mean? When it has, like, the badge plate on a car and you just glance at it and you go, it's nice and clever.
There's a nice one that I saw a long time ago. It wasn't like a tattoo, but it was like a drawing. And it was Optimus Prime, the tattoo the logo. And it was coloured as Boba Fett. And I thought that always looked cool.
Yeah.
But again, I agree with your mates. Like when you think of red and green as tattoos, they don't tend to stay. Whereas purple is a pretty decent, vibrant colour.
There was quite a few famous people in the new movies as voices of the Transformers. I wonder, because Keith David was one of the voices, wasn't he?
I'm literally not really. I saw the first one, I saw the second one, and that was about it. And they were a long time ago, so I'm not going to be able to.
Well, the series takes a massive turn because obviously all of a sudden Mark Wahlberg's in it. Forget about Shia LaBeouf or anyone that came before it. But then I think...
They killed him off, didn't they?
I don't think they did.
I'm sure they did because I remember reading about this not that long ago because I obviously lost interest altogether and I'm sure... I'll have to look it up now. I'm sure because I was quite surprised to hear it. I thought, surely not. I thought they would have just written them out. But...
Oh, was it? I mean...
What was his name again? Wiki.
Sam Witwicky, aye.
Sam Witwicky.
There you go, 2 planets. Are you going to introduce some good things here? Again, not a lot takes much on Earth now. They've got away from it, you know what I mean? It becomes like the Galaxy generation.
If it did a film on Cybertron, that would be awesome. Like the first 5 minutes, and Bumblebee, like I said before, was amazing.
That's what they need to do, like a proper story of like the beginning, instead of halfway through when we're just going to go to Earth for no reason every time.
Yeah.
Did you ever, Dave? Did you ever see the episode where they find the ship from the movie and it's got all the bodies in, and they find Optimus Prime and that, like walking around like a zombie? Did you ever see that episode?
No, that was a later series, wasn't it? Because it's after this. Because that's how he comes back, isn't it?
Yeah, there's I think series 3 and 4. I think it got quite dark before they went Beast War kind of animation.
Yeah, so 3 because Rodimus is in charge. He just for fun reintroduces gladiatorial games. No, just as a normal dictator would for the Autobots.
So, I mean, I know obviously the Optimus Prime theme was quite heart-wrenching, but I'm going to have to lay it on you lads. So I have found out. So officially canon, this is what it states. So it was weirdly anticlimactic ending, but until we hear otherwise, Michael Bay or the inevitable Transformers 6 is now canon. The Whitney family was killed by a rogue tornado. I know.
Yeah, that was during the time when Shia LaBeouf started doing this like mental phase.
Yeah.
Bag on his head.
We'll just write them out. It's easier.
Yeah. I mean, I would have thought it would have just like you say, but then again, I suppose given what his character developed in those films, it would be weird just to say, oh, he's not interested anymore, or he went off to do something else. I feel like you'd have to sort of kill him off just to kind of commit to the fact that he wouldn't be around.
The score.
But then again, I will be the one to say that Shia LaBeouf is probably a much, much better actor than most people think he is.
Guess what? Guess what Shia LaBeouf was in when he's really young for one of his first roles?
I think I know this, but go on, tell us.
Go on, tell us. What is it?
I don't know. I think I know what you're going to say, but I don't know if that makes sense.
It's the fucking X-Files.
It was the X-Files, was it?
Yes.
No, I thought you were going to be. It was the greatest game ever played, which was Disney.
Nah, he was the X-Files.
So
He was credited as Shia LaBeouf.
Shia LaBeouf. Well, he hadn't credited himself yet, but no, I think, like I say, he did a great job with Peanut Butter Falcon. There's a load of stuff that, like I say, Fury. You know, that character in itself was almost better than Brad Pitt, like at that point.
I liked him in Wall Street. I thought he was really good in Wall Street as well.
Yeah.
Just
I
to
think
give
he's going to be one of those actors who just does what he wants when he wants. So I don't think he'll ever get a big blockbuster again.
Oh, I think he'll have a big comeback. He's playing it well. I think he's pissed a few people off in Hollywood, but he seems to just like, you know, walk the line. Just to give props to the score here, like the music kicking in and like the soundtrack itself is fucking class. Like on this.
Rocky 4 guy, that's why. Rocky 4 guy. Instead, of course.
Well, this is it.
Dun dun dun. Planet of the Junk. Fucking class.
We should have had Rocky 4 by now. That was slated to be the director's cut was slated to be Christmas. No,
well, that's it. I mean,
half the world died.
Yeah,
a bit of a today thing.
Yeah, the fact that apparently he's cutting out the robot just, I don't know, it just seems ridiculous.
He'll have to cut the robot out. Have you seen some of the test takes? He's like, I want to get up slower. Make me get up slower. He's shouting at the editor and you think, well, that's going to make the movie twice as long. Yeah. See him on the fights and stuff.
Hey, that robot was medical genius, that. Happy birthday, Polly.
Obviously, here comes Eric Idle very soon. Is there one of the jump men?
Side of life.
Wreck guy called.
I mean, you know this suit here? I mean, you know, he transformed Dave, transform. What if it just did a whole Iron Man on him and snapped him in 6 different places? Like, transform into what?
I mean, it is pretty irresponsible to put him in, like, a war.
You know what they say, Carl? When you're in war, you got to become war.
No.
What's it good for?
I mean,
for absolutely nothing.
They're just kind of keeping him around as more of a pet. This is essentially a hamster ball for him, isn't it?
It's totally opposite to Michael Bay's movie, isn't it? It's like in Michael Bay's movie we've got humans and one transformer. In this we've got one human. Who's named after the director's son.
Leaving him around for a bit because they don't need him. He doesn't do anything useful. He doesn't help anyone.
He helped push that tank. Don't think he did anything, but he helped. He tried.
He's the equivalent of when a 3-year-old comes up with a toy hammer trying to help you put a cabinet.
Good lad, pat him on the head. You're doing a great job there, mate.
Yeah, well done. Thank you. Go see someone else now, please.
Yeah, because you're done now. You go off and play. I'll finish up.
Yeah, I'll do the actual work. Cheers.
I mean, you talk about the movie when, like, obviously the guys all get brutally murdered and all that, and, like, I mean, Cup's being put back together, and Ultra Magnus, he gets murdered, but for some reason gets put back together. You're like, isn't he just meant to be the red herring?
Yeah, but he gets absolutely ripped to bits. Like, there's nothing left of him, and then they just put him back together, and he's fine. Yeah, like I say, Prime gets stabbed and then shot in the stab wound, and he's like, no, I'll give up now, bye. I can't be bothered with these anymore.
I mean, they didn't get far there, did they? Like, uh-oh. Sharkticons. As I was saying before when I was doing the research, there was a lot of backstory about the Sharkticons and whatever you call it, the judge, jury and executioners coming up. All of that was shifted to the start of the third season as a backstory, and they become like an antagonist, like a third faction in the war in the third series. Pretty cool design,
like the idea of new comics and stuff. There's more than just Autobots and Decepticons. Like they add in different species from different worlds who are essentially just Transformers.
Yeah.
I think they look classy. No, they're crocodiles. It's the shark. They're not the same as the Sharkticons coming up, are they?
No, the Sharkticons are the ones in the fish tank, aren't they?
No, they're pretty cool.
Well, when you've been judged.
Judge, jury, executioner.
The little car that's flying around. I love the guy with the fucking antennas. Like, just fucking creepy as shit. He's not a Transformer. What's he going to transform into?
Wheelie, where he just turns up for no reason.
No, Wheelie's, I would say the guy who plays Wheelie's also the guy who plays Megatron. That was totally a different robot that went falling down that fucking chute there, mind.
Stunt double.
Huh?
That was like the old days where like designed to scare kids, weren't it? Like that freaky like face thing, you know what I mean? With the different heads and stuff like that.
Not as much as I was fucking terrified. Not only I'm more terrified now of Falco the Luck Dragon in Neverending Story. I'm more because there's something not right with that fucking dragon. But the fucking the wolf at the end when it comes out the wall fucking terrified me as a kid.
I tell you what freaked me out as a kid, Sandman and Ghostbusters, his fight and everything. You know what I mean? The one that I go to sleep. It freaks, even to now, freaks me out. The real Ghostbusters Sandman.
I mean, these are just flat out murdering people.
Yeah.
Come to our planet, right? Murder you.
They just do it for fun, though. They torture you, don't they? It doesn't matter if you're guilty or not guilty, you're dead.
Guilty or innocent? Innocent.
Are they American?
Who? Well, that's it. Guilty or innocent. That's what they say.
Yeah.
I mean, what is he? I mean, I don't know. I'll give up. That one looks like an old school teacher with the teeth.
I'm still waiting for Crank to turn up.
Huh? I tell you what was amazing. Has everyone seen Turtles Forever?
Yeah.
Ah, it's fucking class, like.
I remember recommending that to you when you were phoning me off your face when you were getting your teeth done. To say it was the best film you've ever seen in your life.
Aye, thanks, Dave.
Barely able to speak. Didn't even know where you were.
I tell you what, I don't miss them days. I tell you what, I wouldn't mind it now. I was going through all them operations and happened to wear a mask at work, you know what I mean? Half the problem with me when I was at work was more like I didn't like to open my mouth or it hurt or like I was missing teeth. Now it wouldn't be a fucking problem because I'm wearing a mask. Who said that? It's him. Creepy ass voice.
Definitely.
Fucking Grimlock's
Tiny
just
guy
class.
who has an Autobot symbol, but nothing to do with him.
Aye. On the other side of the galaxy.
Yeah.
Fucking catapult. He's got a little red nose and that, like it hurts. Like, oh, my nose. Now, in the thing, the TV show, don't they find the Dinobots in the cave or something and build them?
It's the first series the kids are with. In that series, he's like, dinosaurs are really cool. And Wheeljack just goes, well, we'll just build some then, will we?
Yeah.
Got all these parts lying around, so then they build the Dinobots. It's a really good episode as well, because they work for Megatron for a bit. Because Grimlock only respects the strongest, and then Prime, I think, beats the crap out of Devastator. And then it's like, alright, fair enough, you're the boss mate.
Fucking Orson Welles' voice is fucking class.
No one would ever believe what the world's meant.
Well, he's one of them unique voices, though, isn't he?
Definitely.
It was like whenever Brian Blessed comes on screen, there's no mistaking him.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We were talking about this the other day. Dave and me and Carl were doing the podcast of Flash Gordon. It's like, what do you know Brian Blessed for? Flash Gordon and Robin Hood. That's it. And he's not the guy from Nightmare, that old TV show, when the kids used to have to wear the helmet and just walk around the green room. Like, it's not the same actor.
That was amazing, that.
Because Boston Nass in front of Menace. Mr. go, oh no! Mr. It was all the power for you.
I mean, it wouldn't be the same, but can you imagine if they revived Nightmare in this day and age?
It wouldn't be the same. It's just fucking mental to think, like, trying to work it out as a kid. It's like some of them shows. I mean, you watch Funhouse. I mean, don't get us wrong, I was a little bit let down when I watched them. But like, you watch Funhouse now, and it's like, no way would kids be allowed to do that now, because they would get sued off every like danger they're putting them in. And even like stuff like Finders Keepers, these shows were like, yeah, they were mint, but like now you wouldn't be able to get away with them.
Oh, go to the left a little bit, 2 paces to the left. Take the magic potion.
Yeah, but there's always like one like, oh, dickhead, that's not your left, that's your right.
Yep.
There's always
The
one
music was
idiot.
amazing on Nightmare.
Yeah.
And then the little skull would come up when the person's got too much time, or the skull would start falling apart, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Grab your home, the goblins are coming for you.
Now the guy who plays Ultra Magnus is really famous, you know, and this was the first voice over he did. But after this, he went on to have a massive voice over career in television, as being like quite a in a world voice, very distinct, recognisable voice. Can't fucking remember his name, like, but yeah, you go.
In a podcast.
I think you've got to do that, Paul. I think you're going to have to do a recording for the beginning of every podcast.
He's already impersonating me.
Hi, I'm Steve Monkey Mason. Welcome to the podcast. We are joined by.
It's welcome to It's Just a Podcast, actually.
I'll work on it.
You should, you fucking named it.
Oh, yeah, I did, didn't I? No, did I? I can't remember.
I think it spawned from the fact that we used to point out ridiculous concepts, so I think, like, with the fact that we kept on saying it's just a movie, I think we all kind of came together with it, just a podcast.
This head looks like an alien head, doesn't it? Like a xenomorph head. Like the shape of it.
He's fucking terrifying, him. I wonder if he was ever an actual toy. Because, like, how would, like, I mean, you could see him being a toy and having the tentacles, but then, obviously, if your dog got a hold of that, he would just be, like, armless.
Yeah, there'd be too many small parts to swallow.
That's the problem with Transformers, like, your dog couldn't chew them.
Did it ever make a final Transformers?
That was it. It was the kids' own fault.
I think it did, Paul.
They had a small
There
range.
many, but
They're quite a hard pop vinyl, I think, to put...
it is a hard one to pull off, like.
Yeah.
I mean, cars drive underwater.
Even though sea creatures look good. The designs are amazing on this, like.
I'm going to go with piranhas, aren't they?
Yeah, the Sharkticons.
Well, the piranha would have been by the looks of it, though.
That looks like a massive toilet, that. Just getting flushed.
Okay, who flushed the loo?
flat out run them over. One of them misses one by mistake and just rips off his whole face in a minute. It's fucking quite terrifying. I remember playing, what was the really good game, Dave, where you, it was on the X Generation and, it was all like this generation Transformers, but what was it called again, where you could be Grimlock and stuff?
There was the War for Cybertron was the first one, and then there was the Fall of Cybertron,
Yeah.
where you could be Grimlock and Metroplex.
They were really good, them. I enjoyed them. Look at this one, where he smiles, he's got no teeth left. It's like,
Yeah.
It's like a big market on a Saturday night.
Once upon a time, it was like the big market.
Yeah. I noticed that years ago.
This guy gets crushed, and you just see his head. If you look and just see his little head, like, oh dear, excuse me.
Nice. I like how did you walk over him casually?
It's like the bear from the Great Outdoors, isn't it? Just walking over top of John Candy.
I mean, if you look there as well, we talked about this on the Jurassic Park podcast. In the new Transformers, there's a raptor, isn't there? A raptor-less, like a Spinosaurus looking one underneath Grimlock.
Yeah.
And there isn't there now, because like raptors weren't a thing until Jurassic Park. They were the main dinosaurs you knew. You knew a Tyrannosaurus Rex. You knew what a Spinosaurus was. Not a Spinosaurus. A Pterosaurus. What do you call them? Fucking Stegosaurus, that's the word. You knew which ones they were. Like pterodactyls and stuff, but you didn't know like what a raptor was.
Mate, I think you just invented 6.
Yeah.
I think it's because back in the day, though, a raptor basically was just a small T-Rex, wasn't it? When you
Yeah.
first-
Yeah.
And people want a T-Rex, it's like a full-size T-Rex.
I mean, fuck me, how many Sharkticons is there? That didn't look too great, them all going up the wall there. That was a bit...
Yeah. They look a bit like World War Z when the zombies run up the wall.
That's a
How
plane.
casually has he got his legs crossed like that?
There you go. He's definitely dead.
Yeah, just like he's incomplete and other bits, and Prime was just like, no, I'm going to sleep now, mate. I'm done in.
But see, all the new generations, they're all spacey cars. I mean, even Blur's like almost like a floating hover car, isn't he? Like futuristic designs, nothing like what was at the time on the 80s cars. Because like originally the Transformers were all based on cars from that era. Do you know what I mean? That was what made them cool. So they were pushing it into like that's like obviously futuristic. But then obviously Michael Bay got a lot of hate with Optimus Prime when he made him what we know is the mask car, doesn't it? The masked truck.
Crusaders, wicked up the drive.
But see, there's two franchises, The Mask and The Visionaries. They would both make great movies, but they've never had any kind of interest or what I've seen anyway.
That's because
Funny enough, they mentioned Visionaries. There's IDW again. They did a crossover, Visionaries and Transformers. It's a really good comic to get a hold of.
Well, the director of this did Visionaries as well, you know.
They also did Ghostbusters and Transformers, and they've also did like DeLorean, haven't they? Like a Back to the Future DeLorean as a Transformer.
Yeah, because they keep just crossing all the universes.
Yeah, it's like it was like a special, it's like a anniversary edition or something like that.
Like,
I mean-
I think Transformers and Turtles and
Yeah.
I mean,
Turtles and Power Rangers now, and
you can do it in comics, and like Batman versus the Turtles, the Blu-ray, you know what I mean? Like, as long as they cater it to that older audience, because Batman versus Turtles I thought was quite brutal.
That was really good, that. I enjoyed that.
I think there's a bit when
Never seen it.
Raph knees somebody in the face and you think, ah!
You think it's
But as futuristic as this is, what year do we think it's set in?
It's past, hasn't it? It's like,
Sorry?
it's past, hasn't it?
It is 2005.
Ah, I knew it's got long gone, aye. We're in the year of Johnny Mnemonic and Mad Max 2 now, man.
Well, it will be like Mad Max 2 soon, the way it's going on.
I'm going to say we've already had to run in, man. That could have been a thing.
What happened to his face? Oh, he's got his head turned the wrong way. I got him scared there for a second. I was like, why is he missing a face?
Why is his lips done for? Oh.
He's got proper nipples.
And this is my eyes getting cold. Looking.
And then they have to have a dance. I mean, what's that about?
It's a dance scene to kind of flesh the film out, because it's not even an hour and a half long.
Yeah. We've got 20 minutes to go. You don't get a dance scene.
5 frames going backwards and forwards, isn't it?
Can you just copy and paste that? No, you just give us that back. I'll scan it through again. Right, yeah, we made it a little bit longer.
Look, does that mean that when they were dancing, they were doing the robot?
Oh. I'm sure that's why you're always late for the podcast, writing some little jokes down. Oh, he's got a camera. Look at that, a digital camera.
Are you ahead of the time? That man, that's my phone.
Okay.
This is the bit that I didn't really get. Is the fact they're all dancing and happy about Ultra Magnus is dead. They're just dancing on his corpse.
Some stupid.
Ritual.
Put some gel on him.
Polish that fixes all the cracks.
There you go, and he's alive. He's alive!
I was only dead for a short time.
Yeah, that's all cool. Don't worry. My head was literally in 3 pieces, but it's pretty bad.
The thing is, like, kids would have went out with pictures of when he died and walked out, wouldn't they? But didn't realise he came back to life. You know what I mean? Hey, look at my nips. That's all I can say.
He's got some nipples.
Everyone's dancing in the back. No.
Here comes the spaceship.
Oh, spoilers.
Oh, fuck off, man.
It's like Indiana Jones at the end with a big spaceship.
I tell you what looks good on the Blu-ray, what they've worked on. Normally when you watch something like this really old, you could know when they were walking over to something and it was going to move because it'd be slightly a different colour, like a door or something. And in this, like, I always remember when he walked over, that almost looked like it would be blended in, like they've worked on the colour a bit. And it's flying through the sky, nice and colourful. It still fades to black like a TV episode does, though, doesn't it?
Yeah, but it doesn't do the TV episode wipes, does it?
Yeah.
And he used to flip to whatever symbol who's going to be in the next scene. So if it was just flip around the Autobots again.
I remember picking up. I didn't keep it for long. I think they didn't they do like a new generation cut of the old ones, and they had new transitions in and shit, and it was just really bad. Yeah, it was horrible.
We need some more. We need some more gun guns added into this scene. Yeah, we get some more. Yeah.
This is an amazing transformation. This
transformation. The Transformers film. Hang on. Is this Spaceballs? Which is into the Statue of Liberty with the
that would be a great crossover.
Did they ever go into who made Unicron? Because someone had to. That just looks fucking class.
I think just like, in every lore, like any of the other series and stuff, he's just written off as like he's older than time kind of thing.
Yeah.
Just one of those beings that existed because that's why.
But he's doing his job, though, isn't he? It's a very cool transaction to...
I mean, how would they bring him into the Michael Bay universe at the end when they went, oh, well, that's Unicron, and the fucking hidden credits, you're like, nah, Unicron can't be Earth. I would understand if they were going to go boldly to go, Unicron's the moon. That would work. Because I remember the whole...
dark side of the moon.
Well, that's it. I always liked. I liked the first Transformers movie about how Megatron and they built the Hoover Dam around finding Megatron, the ice, all that. And I love like the little hints in history. And then I loved the idea of going in the third one and go, oh, the dark side of the moon. They found something on the dark side of the moon, and it was just some random fucking robot. But wasn't one of them on Leonard Nimoy? Didn't he come back for one of the voices?
In the movies, I don't think so.
Wasn't
don't know.
Wasn't it someone famous who came back for the voice in that?
I'd imagine there'd be a couple of well-known voices.
But not as we know it.
No.
I love it how the lights going on. Warning, warning. Bowie, Grana, Neri Bomb. Flies straight through his eye.
Right in the eye.
And they all fall out. Hey!
Like, he holds his eye, like, oh, that really hurts. But it's like, his eye was literally just a pane of glass. There was nothing behind it, so it's not like you could see anything, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's got parasites, though. Look at them. Needs to get that cleaned out.
It's the digestive system.
Well, it's 80s technology, surely, to just blow on it.
Take it out, blowing it for a bag in.
Now, the thing is about Megatron in this, although he's meant to be the villain throughout the series, he's kind of like the sidekick in this, but then he's like sort of, when he becomes Galvatron, because that is Leonard Nimoy, he's kind of on the fence here. He doesn't really know what to fucking do, does he?
Well, no, because I think obviously Unicron's destroying Cybertron, and the whole point is he's fighting for Cybertron. He's like, well, where do I stand now?
He's got a nice custom
It's
chain
got
made
the
for it.
gangsters things on it.
Ah, he's gone gangster.
Just the flavour of the Transformers universe.
Yeah.
You know, he has the voice for it, though. I would pay to see it. He's got the perfect voice for it. Mr. T. He could be an Autobot.
Nah,
That's
Kermit the
good,
Frog for me.
Yeah.
Time to transform, everybody.
I love the Grimlock. Need a new strategy. Comes in and kicks butt. The only time you see them transformed, isn't it? Or Grimlock transformed anyway.
Yeah, because at the start of the film, they're in the like the robot forms, and they transform back into dinosaurs, and just stay that way for the film. I suppose because they get shit done as dinosaurs, don't they?
Yeah.
You know what to say? Light finds a way.
That is what they say.
And that's it. They're gone until the end. Now, this version I watched this morning with the commentary, at the very end, you guys, like Dave, do you remember it saying Optimus Prime will return? It doesn't on this.
You know, when they flew away there, Mason, did you pick up on the cell roughly around the edges, like we did on Flash Gordon?
Yeah, that was terrible. I'm sorry to spoil that film for you, Carl.
It was just something I'd never noticed until you pointed it out, and I was like, right in front of your face.
It will look worse for you because you had the new restored version as well.
Yeah? Christ, I could have fixed that, like.
I'm just having a
Cool
peek.
animations thing. This guy's a wet wire, isn't he? Didn't he just go down kamikaze?
Huh?
The one in the bay.
Alright, the only one.
Yeah, well, just melt random robots.
Yep.
Melting.
It's like Terminator 2 all over again.
Yeah. This one we'll be wearing soon. Suit like this. To go to shops.
Yeah. I used to get them that way.
People refuse to wear them.
Hiya everyone, can I just point out something? Leonard Nimoy is the voice of Sentinel Prime and Dark of the Moon in Transformers 3. So I was right. Bah!
There you go.
Right, tricky. Fucking hell. So there's one tricky, isn't there?
I just wanted to, I do these podcasts, I do my research, I try to take everything in, and then I get shouted at by Paul Ray. I mean, I'm surprised Paul Ray hasn't lost his shit. Isn't that right, Carl? Paul Ray's normally lost his shit by now and started shouting.
A little bit, yeah.
It's because you
We got a new guest today. He's on his best behaviour, isn't he?
Oh, we had words earlier on.
It's because your phone keeps cutting out. I can't pull your phone's cutting out. What am I supposed to do?
And he just starts going, what the fuck am I supposed to do? It just comes off at the side going, raw.
The angrier you get, the more sound like you're making, like you're doing oral with your microphone. It's just like, I don't mind someone being angry, but I can't understand a word you say.
I'm going to go outside and watch the TV through the window so I can get that signal.
There's a bit of a flaw here though, isn't it? I mean, first off, he transforms while he's holding him. Like, and he starts choking him. Like, can you kill a robot that way? You know, like, you don't need oxygen. Just fucking die. I mean, he just flat out murders all them in the ship there. They're dead.
Yeah.
And it's,
Yeah, but not the name. There's only one of them had a name, isn't it?
that's Eric Idle, isn't it?
Yeah.
Alright. Always look on the bright side of life.
Just fucking choking him to death. I like when he gets the Matrix, which looks tiny in that frame. Like, I like when he gets the Matrix and you just see, it's just enough to like see a change in him. There you go, changes a bit.
Yeah, he has one of the worst names, though, isn't it?
Rodimus Prime.
Hot rod.
It just sounds like a porn star.
I was about to say, I'm sure I've seen something like that.
Well, he just totally changes. I mean, he's even like been coloured different and everything, and it's like now instead of a super sports car, he turns into a truck. But Hot Rod wasn't in the series before that, though, was he?
He might have came towards the end of Series 2. Can't quite, like, Series 2 gets a bit fuzzy.
Made a forge. But like they brought him into the movies as well, didn't they? Like very late on as well.
Wasn't he a Lamborghini? I think I read that, because apparently they make a reference that he's like a brother to Bumblebee. Like, as in a brother in arms. You get like a little mention. I don't think he played a massive role in out like that.
There you go. And which angle should we? Which angle should we go for opening the Matrix? Let's just go for all three. Just like it's a big moment.
A big moment. Neo's gonna pop out in a minute.
I mean, to be fair, yeah, because I mean, outside of the original series, there was no other Primes, was there? When it first started, Optimus was the only one because he was the only one that had the leadership, and you found out that obviously other people can use it.
Well, that's it. In the movies, he fucks off to go and find himself, doesn't he, or something, and then comes back weird as well.
Starting to think Optimus Prime is a lazy bitch, like. You'd always get off somewhere else, you know. Start to get busy. I'm just gonna get around the back just to check something for 2 seconds.
See, even then,
The coffee stand, don't worry.
even then, right? You look at like who was expendable, right? You think they would have killed Cliffjumper because Bumblebee's that popular that they kept Bumblebee in like his franchise, but like to not kill Cliffjumper as well, the red version of Bumblebee. Do you know what I mean? Like there you go, side by side.
Funny though, like obviously back in the day, Bumblebee wasn't that massive like as a fan favourite. Like, a lot like people liked him and that, but it was because of the first Michael Bay film.
Yeah.
He had that weird voice thing. Everyone started loving Bumblebee. All the kids wanted to be him.
Well, to be honest with you, the Bumblebee, the voice thing obviously comes from the Junkyard people in this, because they talk TV. I talk TV.
Because in some of the series like that came out after the original Bay film, the Bumblebee has to use his radio to talk, and they just like they kind of kept that in for ages because it was getting the kids hooked into that Bumblebee.
Okay, that's how they recognised him, innit? That's just his identity by that point.
Yeah, well, I think because it took years before he actually got his voice box back.
Well, I think, like, you know, with Cliffjumper, you know, like on a regular day when everything's calm and that, you just call Cliff.
Right.
what would happen?
If they turn the analog signal off on FM radios, how could Bumblebee pick up signal and talk?
Well, that's it. I mean, again, they did expand on it. I mean, we end on Unicron's head going around here, which gets revisited in the TV series as well.
Yeah, it's actually the first episode, isn't it?
And there we go. Cast. Bang. That was quite quick, actually.
I like the freeze frame. That's a classic.
I miss frames and films and stuff.
Yeah. Jump in the air when it freezes. Oh, the classic.
Like the A-Team, like the A-Team used to do. Yeah.
Well, Paul Ray,
Scatman clutches.
what's it going to be, Paul Ray?
I let Big Dave do it this time. He's a
I
guest.
don't know what you're actually doing.
So we rate the film out of 10, but Paul Ray always has a genius way of rating them. So, like, what was it? I don't know, what did we do for Jurassic Park?
How many clever girls?
How many clever girls? So you have to take like a reference from a film.
And then just say what it is.
Yeah, no, because I love this film though. So like, I'd definitely give it a 9 at minimum. Like, I don't know, 9 primes.
There we go. I like that, yeah. There you go.
Primes out of 10, yeah.
So it would have made a 10 though for you?
I'm not sure. I'm guessing if I'd seen it when I was a lot younger, probably.
Yeah.
Like I said earlier, I didn't see it when I was really young, because you're at the mercy of whatever gets broadcasted on TV. And when you go to the video shop, if it's not in the video shop, you kind of like rent it. So
You get robbed instead.
it was like back when it got. I think it was it must have been its 50th anniversary. So I was like, oh yeah. The mates were like, oh, it's just been re-released. I think it's finally like out again. So I was like, oh, I'll pick it up and give it a watch, and I fell in love with it. But I think it, like, as much as I love it, it doesn't have as much nostalgia, because I was obviously grew up on the original G1 sort of TV series. I watched this after a few years of that, and watching me mates basically die. I was like, what's this about? What's going on? Yeah, why was this a direction? So yeah, nah, it's a really solid film, and like I say, the Blu-rays it's proper cleaned up.
Yeah.
It's one of the best cleanups of any animation.
The one letdown.
I borrowed the Blu-ray for tonight off a friend who, like I say, I was not expecting it to look as crisp as it did, like, so got to give the credit for that, like.
One of the letdowns, I think, with the Blu-ray, obviously the Blu-ray never went cheap until the very moment. It's not, again, Transformers always seems to disappear then reappear after a couple of years. There's so many different versions of the DVD, the VHS. There's not a very definitive artwork. I've got a first release of it on VHS, and it's class. But the Blu-ray Steelbook, I don't like the cover, and I think the back's a massive disappointment.
I wasn't truly, I mean, obviously as a Steelbook collector, I would say that I probably, because of, like I say, my detachment from the film, I mean, I was born this year, and like I say, same with you, Dave, I mean, I didn't see this until much later on, and even then it's even been years since I've watched it again. This is like the first time in a few years, but I probably would have said I would have picked up a Blu-ray had the Steelbook looked a nicer design, especially with the animation of this film. It could have been so much more like.
I think the Steelbook just needs to be black, like the cover, like there on the cover of the space. I don't think that. I mean, the artwork's well drawn because it's been freshly drawn. I just don't like the blue look, because like Transformers is when they used to get released, especially the original ones. There'll be these massive detailed pictures, and they'll not exactly be correct to the cartoon or all that, but they're like. You remember the jigsaw puzzles and like the first generation art, the graphics on the back of the boxes, and like it'll just be that's the Transformers. That's Transformers, looks amazing. But like again, I always think the front cover of the movie, there isn't a definitive cover, because there's been so many. A lot of the times it's Ultra Magnus firing up to the sky, or it's a, you know what I mean. But again, when it came to the Steelbook, I was quite disappointed with the Steelbook cover.
Yeah, what are you going to go for then?
If you ever see the DVD I've got of it, you'll see why I prefer the Steelbook anyway, because the DVD's awful. The first DVD I've got of it.
Yeah.
literally just like some really bad CG looking prime that someone's just chucked on the front of it.
Yeah, is it easy saw it on the side, Dave, and it's like quite dark colours as well?
Yeah.
I know which one you're on about. Yeah, it's really bad cover, that one.
It's just like it's just awful. Whereas the steelbook I actually quite like. I know it's not as intricate as it could be, but I mean the back's terrible.
The back's terrible. On the back, till all R1 and just some graphic of Unicorn's head, and inside Decepticon. I mean, it's just red inside. Like, they haven't even put the Decepticon logo in purple. Do you know what I mean? If they're going to go that much detail inside the box. But even that, it's a double disc Blu-ray, and the only difference between both discs is one's widescreen, one's standard. Do you not think that they'll be able to fit the standard just on the same disc?
Well, that goes back to Blu-ray not really capitalising on what it actually is, which is, you know, it should have been able to get a lot more on a disc. It seems to be getting less and less, so that's just a standard issue of Blu-ray these days for me.
Are you going to ask me? Personally, I'm going to give this a 10 because I have that childhood nostalgia, as I said at the start. Like, I first seen this when my granddad was like, oh, he's Transformers. And you sit down and you watch that in, like, for a brief time. I didn't see it for a couple of years. Then you get it and you have that rediscovery. Then you rediscover it every other couple of years. And, like, looking back at it now, like getting in nearly 40s, you can look at that and go, that is a fucking work of art. The soundtrack's amazing. I mean, it's even more mind-boggling now because you know who the famous people are, and you look back at like Judd Nelson was in the Brat Pack at that time. He was a big fucking name then. Leonard Nimoy's in it and stuff. But like, you look at it now and you go, this is a kid's cartoon, and like you've got fucking Transformers getting their heads fucking blown off. You've got like mass murder, but then you've got like the music in it so powerful and just. And again, I think it's like it's over too quickly. But again, I'll give it 10. I think the animation alone is a work of art. So,
yeah.
Who's next, Paul or Dave?
Paulie? Hello. I'll probably give it a 6 because obviously I'm not a really big Transformers fan. I haven't seen it since maybe on DVD years ago. But again, Mason, I really enjoyed the quality of the animation was absolutely amazing, and bring it back to that childhood innocence of the cartoon from the 80s, which I love. So yes, it's a quick short one for me.
This is probably the most varied score one I think we're doing, because I think I'm going to go 8. For me, obviously, just going to not repeat everything you said. I mean, the music's spot on. The animation, like you said, Mason's a work of art. It's something that we'll never see again. In this lifetime with the way animations are. Yeah, I mean, and future projects. But yeah, it's kind of, to me, as a film, it flows well, but the story's a bit, it's all over the place a little bit for me. It's kind of you don't really need to know the story kind of film. It's like I say, it's a spectacle in itself just to watch from scene to scene. Not everything always makes sense. It doesn't have to, but that's the thing. They knew that, and the viewer knows that. So I think that's what makes it work so well. So I feel like an honest score would be, given the art, the music, everything about it, I would say it's an 8 out of 10 for me.
I think one of the things about the film, though, is normally, if you look at Bravestar, like Bravestar, for example, Bravestar comes out as a feature, and they make this big effort of making this big-ass event. And they've done it with a lot, like Visionaries, I'm sure, was similar. And like they make a series after the movie, you know what I mean? And like they get all the pre-log out the way and the build characters. Transformers comes along after 2 series, and you know what? By this point, everyone's got the toys, everyone's getting there, but everyone's got all the toys. And then obviously, then they decide to make a movie, but they've held no punches making it. The animation's amazing, but for them to go right, yeah, the backstory is it's about power struggle. But like the idea is, he's an old discontinued toy range now. We've got to get rid of them, and then we want this new toy range for this new Cybertron kind of era. And the Transformers have got to be seen in Transformer mode and in the thing to sell the toys. And then boom, that's what it is. It's like it's a franchise pusher. But again, I think with the movie, it's been the people who made it have done such a good job. we're still talking about it 30 years later and going, that looks fucking class. And especially how much CGI we are shoved down our throats now to see someone like someone's hand fucking drawing them, and it's just fucking class. Like,
I agree.
Yeah.
Well, it's been awesome to have Big Dave. Obviously, I would love to have Big Dave back any time, but we've been talking about doing this now for nearly a year. It's been
Took a while, like
it took a while.
Life doesn't always find a way.
Yeah. As I say, like, me and the guys will be back for. I think we're doing Lost World next, aren't we? So.
Yep. Dinosaurs?
Yeah. I've almost mastered my gymnastics, so yeah, I'm nearly ready.
You're ready for that, are you? Yeah, all right. So we'll be back, and hopefully we'll have Big Dave back down the line when he can think of somebody he wants to actually do. But it's been awesome to have him. And for now, I've been Steve Monkey Mason. I've been joined with Paul Ray. My imposter at the moment. The one and only Lubo Carl McSorley and Big Dave. Thanks for joining us, Dave. Thanks for listening. Goodbye for now.